Today, Precarious plays Stardew Valley!
Now, after a restful night of having nightmares about Levi the Wolf,
Timberwolf.
Oh, I have to put my building supplies back. Last night before bed, I made some tappers. Oh, and I have to run to the community center really early. Oh, but I have to water the plants. Oh, Jesus.
Plants, animals.
Farm life.
Plants, animals. Don't forget your dog. And then you can go. You can go to the community center. So, that was just one story. I picked the story about Levi because it required the smallest number. I had to introduce the smallest number of characters to make it matter.
Yeah.
I could have told you a story about how my favorite character, Angie, is her name, because she's an engineer, and the colonists
gave her that nickname.
Because they're just so creative.
Yeah, clearly you got a bunch of winners.
I could have told you about the story of how my favorite character lost her leg to a sniper rifle, didn't give a single fuck, and was back up building base walls, like not even a week later.
It's like,
on a peg leg, and how now she has a prosthetic leg. I'm gonna eventually work up to a bionic one, and then she'll be better than she was before. I could have told you that story, or I could have told you the story about how my second favorite character, I think, Yoshi the blacksmith, who I've since changed his nickname because you can change the nicknames of colonists.
Yeah.
I changed his nickname to just be Yosh. Because his name is actually Yoshi. And it wasn't nicknameified enough for me. I could have told you the story about how Yoshi just showed up one day and started working. Didn't even give me a prompt. It was just like, hey, a wanderer named Yoshi's joined you. And
he's really useful. He can stay.
I had no fucking idea how much he was gonna contribute. It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's also really sweet because he's married to Angie.
Yeah.
And it's really it's funny how all of the story elements are just there, and then your brain just turns it into a stronger narrative than it might actually be. You just wind up seeing like connecting things and making patterns that aren't necessarily there until you have like a strong narrative with like a beginning, a middle, and an end, and these arcs. So
they keep the amount of characters down a little bit
lower than Dwarf Fortress.
They keep the amount of
citizens
down lower so that they turn into characters. Puff, 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 puff. I love these flowers so much.
One of my favorite things is Yoshi is a...
Oh, fuck.
Yoshi is you should put your tappers on trees, and make sure you put one on each type of tree, relatively...
So is this an oak tree?
I don't know at a glance. That's why you should just put one on each type. And then you should be able to, they should be in an area you visit frequently, so that way you can check. You'll check automatically just walking around. That's definitely a pine.
Yeah.
So that's fantastic that you have those. And now the two that are close are, oak and maple. These two I always get confused. The two that are on screen right now.
Okay, I made 3 tappers because I assumed that there were 3 types of trees.
There are, yes. Okay,
so that one is the broadleaves.
And that one's got the narrow leaves, so put the third tapper on that one.
I'm going to put the third tapper on this one because I'm going to see it more often.
Okay, yeah, because whenever you go to the animals. That's a good point. And then I would knock down the trees in front of it, so that way you don't wind up, losing it.
Yeah. I hate to do this to the young ones, but... I need to finish watering.
Oh, the other ones, too.
I will.
Okay.
I just didn't want to forget watering and selling stuff.
Yoshi is a prosthetophile, I think might be the term that the game uses. He is a fan of bionic enhancement.
Okay, cool.
One day, I haven't done it yet because it's the thought of it scares me, even though he's asking for it. He will one day get a mood bonus, like a permanent one, whenever I purchase and install a bionic arm or leg on him.
That's cool.
And he wind up married to Angie,
who
has a prosthetic leg. So, and I was expecting like some sort of like mood penalty for having to have like a bionic or a prosthetic part installed on her, at least for like a little while. But she didn't care. So I just like to imagine that they're both just really cool, like meant for each other people.
Yeah.
That,
Even though it was like a totally random game circumstance that brought them together.
yeah.
Kind of like real love. Aww.
And they're gonna have super awesome bionically powered babies one day.
Bio babies. Bio babies. Na 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 na.
So it's very cool. But I could have picked any numbers. I could have picked the story about how two of my characters got a divorce and then one of them got remarried, but one of them didn't give a single fuck because she's a psychopath as defined by the game in her character tab.
This is not a judgmental statement, it is a quality.
Yes. There are so many things and it's just there and I care about it. Where in Dwarf Fortress, I personally usually wind up mostly just caring about the fortress and not the dwarf. So I think that that's one of the big differences between the two. I think to bring it back around to
This realm of the Stardews.
yeah, Stardew. Comparing it to Stardew Valley, it can have a lot of the same feel-good moments whenever you're like watching something expand and you're clearing stuff and then you're putting things of your own design in those cleared spaces. But one big difference is my mind is abuzz with ideas, stuff that I would like to see included in RimWorld, and I'm not as confident in
The people.
making RimWorld. Not to say that I'm not confident, it's just not as... For right now, Stardew Valley... Ooh, cool. You should put that in the center. Stardew Valley is basically bulletproof right now, as far as the design direction goes. There are... So I didn't really have like an opinion on it until I saw what is supposed to be... I've only heard of like 2 things that are supposed to go into the next major patch for RimWorld. And it was on the developer Twitter. And I'm pretty sure it was the big features were supposed to be drugs and tutoring. And for me, those aren't terribly interesting.
Yeah.
I understand why, like, drugs is on the list because that's important for, like, a Fallout-esque, like a Wild Frontier type world. And right now there are a few different character traits that are underutilized. Basically, it's like teetotaler and chemical interest.
Yeah.
But I am less interested in those things. And I am more interested in, like, for me, I think that a system that would add in water as another resource that needs to be managed. I would like to see that first. I would like to see that more, especially because electricity is already in the game. And I think that it could probably piggyback off of that framework. I think that the big difference between the two is that electricity only escapes explosively into the environment very infrequently. I think that having water escape into the environment would be a much bigger deal. Oh, I've never seen one of those before. That's cute.
Cool.
So,
starfish.
having water be added to the game would be neat. Oh.
That gull is...
It's fine. He's just using his natural camouflage.
I'm gonna help him.
He's in front of it.
Let me just...
Do you think it'll work?
Nope.
He doesn't care.
I must be nesting in the rocks or something. I don't know.
Okay, we'll just we'll leave that guy to his own devices. So adding water to the game, I think, would add a lot of stuff, right? Mm-hmm. And maybe that's why it's not supposed to be like the next big thing, because I don't know. It's been really hard actually finding like a compact list of notes, like change log. The closest thing I found is the developer website, where I only read back like the first, or I read back over the last 2 updates before I bought the game, just to see like how quickly they were progressing. And every couple of months they've been putting in something pretty big, right? But something about RimWorld compared to Stardew Valley just fills me with ideas, and I want to scream to the world, to somebody,
like,
please put these things in.
Put this stuff. I want to see this.
Yeah.
I want to see this stuff.
Like, I'd love to see water, and I'd love to see pipes, and I'd love to see irrigation, and I'd love to see having to water your fields, and I'd like to see being able to cool people down with water. Because right now I don't think you can do that. Hydration, managing hydration and hunger, that'd be fun for me. Being able, like, having to have water and possibly one day even soap to clean stuff, because right now cleaning, you hit it. Yeah, they just hit it with a brush and then it disappears. And I like. Okay, this is probably the fast one, right? My likely easiest to implement. Wish.
Yeah.
Right now, you can make pants and shirts, and you can make helmets, and you can make various things that go on top of those, right?
Right.
So jackets and dusters and cowboy hats. I'd like to see more layers of clothing that cover more spots in the base game. I haven't looked around for them in Modland, where they might exist, but I'd love to see boots and gloves, and maybe something for the neck slot, like a scarf or a muffler, which I think is the cowboy equivalent of a scarf. A neckerchief.
Neckerchief. Isn't that a bandana?
Well, I just didn't want to call it a bandana, because a bandana is the name of the article of clothing, and you can put that, because then it's like, where do you put that? Do you put it on your head, or do you put it on your neck, you know?
I got a bullhead. I don't know if that's useful.
You might already have one of those.
I might.
You sound like you're flagging. Do you need to take a nap? Do you need to take an RL nap?
I might need to take an RL nap.
You sound exhausted. Here, we'll stop here. You can put your character to sleep, and then you can take a nap too. Does that sound nice? Do you want me to tell you a nice RimWorld story before you go? So that way you don't think about Levi?
Yes.
Okay, here's a nice RimWorld story. So a bunch of bandits attacked my colony, and the dummies started chasing a dog, like a Labrador Retriever, one of my other colonists had, named Justus. Hold on, wait, it gets better.
Somebody was chasing Justus around.
And they chased him down a hallway, and they didn't really notice that Justus was zigzagging down the hallway to get away from them. So they just charged down the hallway, and then all of a sudden, the one in the back just drops over dead. And then the two in front of him are like, what the fuck? And they start panicking in this hallway. And then they both fall over dead. And then Justus just, like, goes back about his business, just immediately starts wandering because he's not being chased anymore. And what I knew and what Justus knew is that hallway, it was my trap hallway. It had a checkerboard of deadfall traps, which are big, heavy iron or steel-bladed, sharp things that just use gravity and a pressure plate to thwap people around the head and neck whenever they step on them. But if you're a bandit, you don't have privilege enough to see those. Yeah. So there you go. Justus, who is not blind, led a bunch of bandits down a hallway, and they all died. The ocean one is the best one, I think.
Yeah, because then you can just go fishing all the time.
Yeah, you can go right to the ocean.
Oh, that sounds
Oh, and
great.
the farm one, of course.
Oh man, watch me bring in the fucking ducats. I'm gonna buy my trees tomorrow.